Nobody is going to rise on this chamber to condemn or say anything negative about this motion. While he was going on, I was conferring with my brothers here, and I asked the first person, he says he's from North Central, the other person is from Southwest, and I am from Southeast. The question I want to put to all of us is, no part of Nigeria is safe. No part of Nigeria is safe. And when such issues come like this, that has to do with the lives of people, you will agree with me, just like on Monday, the attack on that train, the perpetrators of that act were not looking at any particular person from any part of the country, because anybody could have been in that train. So it's injury to all, to one, injury to all. We are not safe. But the truth is that let us not lay it at the door or summarize it as being political, because we will know where we were before 2015. I'm not sure we're any better. It is not about the failure of any one individual. All of us have failed. And we must acknowledge that the failure is that of all of us, not any particular person. Not too long ago, we were all shouting about the security chiefs. And the president listened and changed all of them. Where are we? I want to align myself with the last speaker that we have to go beyond just speaking from this place and do something drastic, something more revolutionary. I think that if we wake up one day and say we are not opening the doors of this chamber until something drastic is done, the Nigerians will take us very seriously. Because I want to believe that the security chiefs are overwhelmed with the situation. I listened to the vice president when he visited the scene of the attack in Kaduna, and I also listened to the Minister of Transportation. Something drastic has to be done. And all of us must lend our voice and let Nigerians know that we are concerned, because we are also not safe. Let us not wait until we are completely overwhelmed. The other day I read, I don't know whether it was last night, some attack in some part of Abuja. No part of this country is safe. I want to summarize my presentation with this saying in Igbo, and I try to interpret it in English so that you will understand. Eneke the bird said, since he's a little bird, said, since he found out that the hunter have learned to shoot without missing, that he has also learned to fly without perching. Because it's only when you perch that the hunter will aim and shoot accurately. Something drastic has to be done, and we are the leaders and we have to take the initiative. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, we must shut the doors and tell ourselves the truth. We have to do something a little bit revolutionary before these people out there and Nigerians will understand that we are as worried, we are as concerned, much more than the motion that has been presented in this floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I will beg my colleagues to reduce the time for speaking so that we can take a little and then put the question. We are still on one item, and I think we did make progress. Honorable Dr. Michelia.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Distinguished honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable Dr. Haruna Michelia. I speak for the people of Askra Obahawul Federal Constituency of Borno State. Mr. Speaker, you know, when something has happened for a long time, people tend to forget. I concur with all the previous speakers, particularly our leader who spoke very well for all of us. But I want to remind the House that in Borno State is still simmering. In fact, there is a local government called Guzamala. Up till now, there is not a single soul living there in Borno State. And in my constituency, which is in the southern part, Mr. Speaker, recently, 3 communities were attacked. One in Gohilo ward called Klangar, where they destroyed and displaced people. Another in Ngulde, where my youth leader of APC was killed. And then in Gerha, in Kida ward, where they displaced people and destroyed their property. So this problem, like the previous speaker said, all over Nigeria, but let us not forget the initial epicenter of the confusion of insurgency, which is the Northeast. So I was thinking I was going to amend, but it's like, I think we should make it all over the country. There's nowhere that is safe, and something needs to be done drastically. And I want to commend your efforts. I saw you on television yesterday when you were talking to the representatives of the service chiefs. something needs to be done drastically. I so submit, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Ali Ahmed.
My name is Nasser Ali Ahmed. I represent Nasara Federal Constituency, and I'm from Kano State. Mr. Speaker, I start with sympathizing with all the people that lost their lives, all the people that were kidnapped and injured in this horrible and tragic incident that happened in Kaduna. But Mr. Speaker, I have said it before in this chamber. From 2015, when this government came into power, how many service chiefs have we had? How many IGs of police have we had? Some have come and gone, but only one person has not been changed up till today, and that is the National Security Advisor. What is the job of the National Security Advisor? Do we have a National Security Advisor? All the agencies that have been mentioned, from the Army, Navy, Air Force, Police, DSS, all of these people, all these agencies are accountable to the National Security Advisor. Mr. Speaker, from the interviews that I heard of the people that survived the incident a few days ago, they said most of these criminals were 16, 17, 18-year-old boys with guns. Are we saying that the Nigerian Army, the Nigerian Navy, the Nigerian Air Force, the Nigerian Police, the DSS, with all the training that they have had, with all the international trainings that they have gone to, they have gone for peacekeepings, that a ragtag army of 16, 17, 18-year-old boys are more powerful than them? Mr. Speaker, this madness has to stop. It simply has to stop. You travel by road, you are kidnapped. You go by train, you are kidnapped. Last week, the airports were attacked by bandits. You sit at home, you are kidnapped. You send your children to school, they are kidnapped. Mr. Speaker, a few weeks ago, somebody was kidnapped in a hospital. So where are you going to stay? Where will you be? You can be kidnapped right in this chamber. Mr. Speaker, what do we tell our people? The people that elected us. Do we just fold our arms? Mr. Speaker, I want to use this opportunity again, and I'm calling for the resignation of the National Security Advisor. He must be removed. He must be removed.
I want to beg. No, please. The House, let us not be too emotional. Of course, we shall be emotional because of and concerned of what is happening. And
he has been there, Mr. Speaker, for 7 years.
Yes, my brother did mention about the request from both chambers to change the service chiefs. They have been changed. What has changed?
But what about the National Security Advisor?
Excuse me. The House should investigate. We have a matter before us, and I think if you carried out our work diligently, which I'm assuring you and Nigerians that we should do our best to unravel. You remember there was a motion that was presented to the House. I presented that motion, referred to, latter. That committee was to investigate on the issue of missing arms, and it will help us to unravel. To this moment, we also have our own part. I must be frank and we should be honest with ourselves. Go back to the judiciary. Among all the people that have been kidnapped, that have been arrested, how many prosecutions have we got in this country?
But
no, I'm speaking about what is rotten in our society. Is that prosecution? I will make a point of contact for you. Jos, you remember the case of General Kali?
yes,
Who was killed? People were arrested. And after the arrest, what happened? They were taken to court. Some people in dramatic manner, in hundreds, want to defend those people. I'm telling you, from the intelligence side of it, the last attack that people were killed after on their way from Bauchi, among those people that did that were accused of that side were also arrested of the same offense. And to this moment, there's no a single prosecution. Is it NSA? A lot of things is wrong in the country, and I join every Nigerian in terms of the outcry of what is happening. And this is the moment for us to stop through this oversight and assignment that has been given to us. We will do the work diligently and report back to the House. I will urge, let us stop at the investigative side. Let us not be conclusive. This is what a legislature should do more. Do the investigation, report back. If we find anybody wanting, we will not spare anybody.
Mr. Speaker.
But I don't want us to go into blame game. I don't want us to go into blame game. I beg of you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. The only thing that I was saying, Mr. Speaker, if service chiefs can be changed at will, I see no reason why the person that they report to, that is supposed to oversight them, Mr. Speaker, I see no reason why he cannot be replaced. Nobody is indispensable, Mr. Speaker.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm simply begging you. Let's do our job. We have the opportunity now to tally and clean, and we'll return. We'll come back to the House. We will not spare anybody.
I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. But Mr. Speaker, before I sit down, I would also like to urge this honorable House to please have a minute of silence for those that lost their lives.
Thank you. Yes, sir. I want to beg of you that we have spoken so much, and I think we can take the whole day. It may not give us the desired result. It was Jah I recognized, elder. Yes, sir. But I will get back to you. No, we don't have minority in this matter. We have National Assembly.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, Jah Baba is my name. I represent the most terrorized constituency of Chibok, Dambua, and Goza, and the remaining 107 not yet recovered Chibok girls. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, let me start by sympathizing with victims of the latest security attack in the country, the victims of train attack by bandits. Mr. Speaker, we have been lamenting on the floor of this House, and it's to a public knowledge, that impediment variable is a mere challenge at the point of origin, but it becomes a very large problem at the point of destination if and only if what is needful is not done. Mr. Speaker, there is no way we can finish this war without doing a revolution in the security architecture on one hand and the National Assembly on the other hand. is a record, and let me use this opportunity to refresh our memory. Army alone gutted 420 billion in 2020 budget. Only 16 billion for capital expenditure. The remaining 406 billion were for recurrent expenditure. In addition to this, there was 100 billion naira allocated for Operation Lafia Dole. In 2021, we budgeted 460 billion for Nigerian Army alone. Only 29 billion was for capital expenditure. The remaining were for recurrent expenditure. In 2022, we budgeted 571 billion for Nigerian Army alone. Only 37 billion is for capital expenditure. The remaining were recurrent expenditure. Mr. Speaker, the truth of the matter is security in Nigeria has become a cash cow business. I am not willing to go without taking my own, and he is not willing to go without taking his own, and the other person is not willing to leave until when he got his own turn. It's just like a medical doctor putting professionalism on one hand aside. You presented a patient. As a patient relative, you said, okay, every month I will give you 100 million naira until when the patient recovers or otherwise. The doctor will make sure that particular patient did not die, and he will continue to maintain that he did not recover, because he will keep on tapping the money. It's a simple analysis, and every simple person can understand. Mr. Speaker, it's a cash cow business. They don't want it to finish, because they realize that everybody's attention was diverted towards Northeast. Okay, let them relieve Northeast to some extent and move to Northwest. After Northwest, they move to Southwest. Before you realize what is happening, the whole country is gutted with security challenges. Another thing, somebody brought the issue of National Security Advisor. We are making one mistake in making appointment, particularly in security architect. One, there is no way you can appoint a Major General or Brigadier General to be a National Security Advisor and issue directives to a Lieutenant General. Ideally, if you are going to appoint National Security Advisor or Defense Minister, try and appoint a full-fledged Nigerian Army General who was one time Chief of Defense Staff. Nobody clinched that particular position until when he was appointed, so everybody must comply. Lastly, about resolution on the floor of this House. I'm happy today that everybody has concern now. When I was speaking on behalf of my constituency, in this chamber, a honorable member raised up and said, if my people are displaced, how did I manage to win election? He didn't know that my election was conducted in IDP camps based on Geneva Convention resolution. Two, a member in this floor wrote a letter of commendation to one of the service chiefs that he is doing good. I got the copy of the letter. I know the honorable member, but I know the time I will scandalize him to the extent that the whole world will look down on him. I will not mention his name. I will deal with him personally. Excuse me. No, I have to tell you the truth.
Honorable Jaha.
Because
Honorable Jaha.
it's a betrayal. No. Speaker, I said, I am ready to give out my life if people in the Northeast can live in peace.
Honorable Jah, be guided, Honorable Jah.
Yes, I understand. Mr. Speaker, it's a betrayal to 359 members for a honorable member to write a commendation letter to a service chief commending him of doing good job while Nigerians are dying. I not mention his name.
Be guided, Honorable Jah, be guided. Be guided.
Maybe, colleagues, I want to beg of us. When you want to say you want to scandalize, yes, you have the opportunity to speak on the floor. But I think we have rules of debate and we have procedures as to what we should say. Foul language is not accepted and it's not acceptable by our own rules. When you say you want to scandalize somebody, is that the intent of why you are here? I don't think so. Thank you. Yes.
With the leave of the House,
Come now, come and see what's going on.
no, it's working. And with my own leave, Mr. Speaker, I was emotionally touched to make that particular statement because it was so painful. And we're all aware we cannot be on our comfort zone while our constituents are dying like animals. That is why I made that particular emotional out. But I'm using this opportunity to withdraw on behalf of the House that I'm not going to scandalize him and I'm not going to deal with him. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, after, is it the turn? You say opposition? But you know I have the least number in these chambers.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Right Honorable colleagues, I'm Dachung Musa Bagos, representing the good, great people of Jos South, Jos East Federal Constituency. I'm from Plateau State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, we are all aware of the challenges and from the discussions so far. But mine is, before every political party campaign and during campaigns, there were promises to address security situation in the country. Where are those security plans that we had promised Nigerians to address the issue of insecurity? Have we brought it to the table? Secondly, like Honorable Jah said, security agencies have received billions of naira, Honorable Speaker. What have they been able to do? Mine, I will put it as a motion and as amendment, Right Honorable Speaker, that we should suspend the releases of all the funds that we have appropriated to the security agencies till they tell us what they have done with what they have received so far. Because if we continue to give them money, we don't know what they are doing with those funds, and they will still come back to the House to get appropriation, and we don't know what they are doing with the money. We have invited them, they have not come. Right Honorable Speaker, let the security agencies come and account for what we have given them. What have they been doing with all these funds that have been released so far? What operations have they carried out? What bullets have they bought? Who have they, among the bandits, who have they executed with those bullets? But year in, year out, we give them funds and we cannot account for anything. Right Honorable Speaker, I will still put an amendment that we should suspend releases till they tell us what we have done with what we have appropriated to them so far. I so submit, Mr. Speaker.
Well, JAH have rolled out billions of naira in the budget. But you all know that as members of legislature, you have, or we have, the only sole power to do the oversight, to ensure good spending. Have we done that? Are we doing that? If we are doing that, why are we complaining? So let us also do our job. And once we start doing our job the way it should be done, we may get the country out of this And that's why I say, let us not go into blame games. I will make mention of committees that have to do particularly with the agency under NSC. Many referrals, no report. Why is the chairman? So why do you blame the executive and you fail to also acknowledge within your own space? I think we have to come up alive and do the right thing. As far as I'm concerned, there shouldn't be any blame game. We all have a role to play to ensure the lives of Nigerians are safe. If money is appropriated, who are the people doing the appropriation? We have said, and the Constitution have guaranteed us, the right of appropriation belongs to us. And even when it comes to the National Assembly, it's in the green chambers that we have both powers. So I will urge my colleagues and charge them that let us do the right thing. All of those who have the fathers before them, if we are serious, let us turn in the reports as quickly as possible. It will help us. I will beg that we'll take 1, 2, and we'll run up with yes.
To these committees, Mr. Speaker, if we have referrals to these committees, and let it not be again that the blame game should turn back on us members. Mr. Speaker, I will still move a motion on us through rules and business that in the next legislative day, let all these referrals from these committees' reports be submitted so that the House will look at these reports and will take the next action.
Honorable Bagos, you know I'm the chairman of the Committee of the Whole. And because I'm passionate, I care to know every resolution and I get along, always asking the rules and business. He can bear me with this. Who have turned in his report? Who has not turned his report? For consideration, I have insisted that every report will exonerate one among them who is doing extremely well, and you can cross-check. Chairman Ami turns in every referral done to him within the shortest possible time. But I can say I don't know one report that has been turned in by the National Security Committee. I don't know. Let's take the summary of Honorable Manguno. Give us the last, then we'll take amendment and put the question.
Honored members, my name is Mohamed Tahir Manguno. I represent Marte Manguno Njenje Federal Constituency of Borno State. Well, my own take on this matter is with regard to deployment of technology in tackling the present problem of incessant security breaches that we have across the nooks and crannies of the country. I was reading today in one of the national dailies that these bandits that have kidnapped some of the passengers in the Kaduna-Abuja bound train have already started calling the relatives of those that were kidnapped for the purpose of having ransom. They are using mobile telecommunication. Why is it that our security agencies, in spite of the huge amount of money that is budgeted for them to deploy appropriate technology with a view to tracking these bandits? So the deployment of appropriate technology is very key and sine qua non for the success of the fight against insecurity in this country. And I always kept on saying that security is of the primacy of governance. any government that fails and or neglects to secure the lives and property of its citizenry, that government is not supposed to last longer than absolutely necessary, because that is the primacy of governance. We have social contract with the people, and the fundamental of the social contract that we have with the people, those of us that were elected, whether in the executive or the legislative arm of government, is to provide peace, order, and good governance. So long as we cannot discharge that function, we have not earned our name, and we have not faithfully discharged our oath of office. So both the executive and the legislature should put hands on deck with a view to addressing this problem that is primacy of governance and the social contract that we have with the people. With regard to the issue of our committees, sir, I can also recall that the first bill that was passed for second reading in this house is my bill, which is the bill on small arms and light weapons. That bill was referred to the Committee on National Security, and up to now, there was no report. To such an extent that I have to go and appeal to Mr. Speaker, and Mr. Speaker had to set up an ad hoc committee specifically to take this bill. So that is the extent to which that committee did not perform. So when we are blaming, the blame game should not only be shifted to the executive. We should also look inwards to see whether we have faithfully discharged our duties or not, with regard to the all-important issue of oversight over the executive arm of government. Thank you.
Outgoing Senate, outgoing member. Outgoing.
Well, before the amendment, I will beg Chairman rules, please go through our proceedings from the inception of this House in terms of this particular assembly, generate all the referrals done. Let's have the ones that we have reports, let's have the ones that are no report, and then see as to how we will utilize our own rules to discharge those who have not been able to return to us their own reports.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, the job is in progress, and by next week, we are going to give notice of discharge of many committees.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I think that one is important. It's important so that the right thing be done. And it will make us live up to our own responsibility. Thank you very much. Amendment?
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, our Right Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues. I am Honorable Dr. Ajibola Muraini. I represent Barakwa Central, Barakwa North Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I'm from Oyo State. I rise to urge for an amendment to add a second prayer in the following terms. 2, urge the federal government to implement as a matter of urgency the resolutions of the Security Summit that was conducted by this House, headed by the Honorable Speaker and populated by leadership and some honorable members. As a matter of urgency, federal government should implement the resolutions of that Security Summit, because we have done a good job there, and it will help us to nip the security problems in the border.
Seconder.
I shall move.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Speaker, my name is Jude Ngaji. I represent the good people of Ogojayala, Federal Constituency, Cross River State. I wanted to add to what he has said, but if I'm going to say anything fresh about it,
I thought you are seconding the motion for amendment.
I was very itchy to speak. Mr. Speaker, I was told that
Colleagues, now is about 1 o'clock.
okay,
We have debated this matter for almost an hour, so I want to beg that we just be patient a little bit. I know that it's a thorny issue and everybody have wanting to say what the other, because it all affects all of us, and I mean all of us. Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Against say nay. That's have it. Come on.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. Ifeanyi Chudimoma, I speak for the people of Ihiala, Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, since there seems to be a lot of unanswered questions on why we keep having this colossal failure of security, it's a complete collapse in my own view.
Point of order. Point of order.
So,
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Marche Monguno, the Federal Constituency of Borno State. Mr. Speaker, I am invoking our rules, and more particularly Order 9, that the Honorable Speaker, Honorable Member that is speaking now, Honorable Moma, is not properly dressed.
This hot weather. No, it's my response. Wait, it's my response.
He's not properly dressed. As far as our rules is concerned, he's naked and therefore cannot be hurt. He cannot be hurt.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. I'm glad he brought up that the objection. But Mr. Speaker, I have a health condition which causes me extreme rashes and near suffocation. If I am in a hot weather for long and I close my buttons and tighten up my tie, it suffocates me and I won't be able to express the views of the people of Indiana Federal Constituency. So that is why I have to speak without it, Mr. Speaker. And you remember I've already raised an issue about the heat that is in this chamber. So, Mr. Speaker, that is why
I will beg. You know my standpoint when it comes to observing our rules and regulations. What is stipulated in the standing order is that the member has to be properly dressed. I appreciate we could first seek from time to time as women, but it is incumbent on you to present to the chair that medical record that will enable you to come to chambers not properly dressed as codified in our standing order. And because of that, I will rule you out of order and I will ask you to kindly take your seat.
Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, I think, sir, on the strength of the ruling of the chair, sir, and the very appropriate observation made by the Chief Whip of the House, Mr. Speaker, by your leave and the leave of the members of the House, I would like to also suggest to Honorable Moma that he should go and try and verify whether between the tie he refuses to wear and the beard he is bearing, which one is actually responsible for the rashes under his neck. I'm not sure if actually it was the tie, but maybe the beard could be responsible for the rashes. Please, I hope he will reach out to his medical doctor and also try to understand
for that medical advice.
Yes.
Thank you. Respected colleagues, those in favor of the motion as amended say aye. Against say nay. That's have it. Because of the enormity and gravity of what has happened and what is happening, I would wish that we'll call it a day. It is quite very serious. In 2 days, losing about 150 citizens in one location, it means a lot.
Yes.
We will observe 1 minute silence. Can I have the attention of Whip Chairman Rules? Leader of the minority, they are not here. They are not here. They are not here. Respected colleagues, Sergios, if you want to change your political party follow through the right process, we'll admit you. We know that we know that. Respected colleagues, I want to beg Orumamo. Excuse me, please. I want to beg. We have put the question on that very motion, and it should be. We have put the question already, Honorable Mama. We have put the question. So, Honorable Bayo, help me to speak to my brother to take his seat rightly. Colleagues,
Sergio, sit down. Sergio, sit down.
Happening, I think I want to beg that it is quite very serious. And I appreciate every emotion expressed on the floor of the House by members. It is the collective expression of all of us in terms of our dissatisfaction as to what is going on in the terms of the fight. Despite the fact that we have given sufficient support in terms of our own legislative function, it is my utmost opinion that a lot needs to be done to improve, to ensure we eradicate these people. I will give a little report of what is happening in my constituency far away from those locations. I can tell you, there's not a single day that we do not lose life. And one will begin to wonder, even where there are intelligence reports, what happened in terms of the executing agencies? Collaboration, I want to say, is quite very, very low. If there's any collaboration, then some people are feasting on it. And I feel we should look for money. I've spoken to the chairman on that particular referral for him to investigate. Even it means taking money from our private pocket will do that for him to commence his work. And in sympathy with the families of those we lost in the various incidences, we need to offer special prayer, not 1 minute silence. Special prayer today, and then we'll adjourn the House to tomorrow so that we can come back and face other diseases. No, Tuesday, sorry. Tuesday. Honorable Jerry Alagbaso, can you give us the first prayer? Elder.
In Jesus' name we pray. Almighty Father, we beseech you to guide and guide all our actions in this legislative assembly so that we always talk truth to the power, especially as it concerns the insecurity in this country. Father, we are children, especially through the majority leader, have cried today. Today is my first time of seeing the majority leader cry. And that is cry elicited some emotions and sober reflections. The Almighty guide this country so that we may consider the state police as a way of suggestion so that we'll be able to solve all the problems of our security. All this we pray in the mighty name of Jesus.
Honorable Sada.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Honorable Flatter, move for the suspension of our items on the other paper, so that I'm stepping down.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I am Abubakar Hassan Fulata. I represent Borneo Creek Asamaguri Federal Constitution. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I move that all items listed on the order paper from number 1 up to the last item number 16 be suspended by the name of the House. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Chairman, House Services.
Mr. Speaker, my name is Wale Raji. I represent a peripheral constituency of Lagos State. I rise to second the motion for the suspension of all items on the other paper for today till Tuesday next week, as moved by the Chairman, Committee on Business and Rules. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against any? That's have it. I move for the adjournment of the House.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My respected colleagues, Ado Dogwa is my name. Mr. Speaker, I represent the people of Dogwa, Tudunwada Federal Constituency. And by grace of Allah, by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the leave of my respected members on the floor, the leader of the 9th House of Representatives, may I, as directed by the Speaker, and in the spirit of the all-important motion that we have deliberated today, which of course had to do with the killings of our innocent electorates in Giwa and all other federal constituencies of the Federation, wish to commend the decision and the wisdom of the Speaker presiding today's plenary, that this hallowed chamber do suspend our sitting for today and for the remaining legislative hours we have today, that we suspend plenary and all committee activities for today and resume on Tuesday, I think 2nd or 4th of April, 5th of April Tuesday, 5th of April, 2022, by 11 a.m. Mr. Speaker, I, on behalf of the leadership and entire membership, further extend our condolences to the lives that were involved in these dastardly developments all over the Federation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, honorable members. I respectfully move.
Yes, sir.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, my name is Mohamed Tari Manguno. I represent Marte Manguno Njenje, Federal Constituency of Borno State. I second the motion for the adjournment of the House and other legislative businesses for today in consonance with the mood of the nation. Thank you.
Thank you. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's a bit. House ever adjourned to next week, Tuesday. Yes, sir. But we'll get back to you. No, we don't have minority in this matter. We have National Assembly.
Yeah.